Okay, this is part 3 of part 4 of all 4 parts for this lab. We are on number 9 on the Massena Quadrangle lab. We're going to measure and record the following distance in kilometers. Again, you're going to use a sheet of paper, and you're going to use the graphic scale, which is at the bottom of the map. Okay, underneath the map, there are 3 lines. The top line is in miles, the middle line is in feet, the bottom line is in kilometers. You're going to use the kilometers. Now, some folks are going to be inclined here. Here's the Massena Power Canal. Starts up here at the Massena Intake Dam, comes down through here, and then meets the Racket River down here in the bottom right-hand corner here. And some folks are going to say, hey, this is pretty easy. I'm going to take my sheet of paper, okay? For my sheet of paper, I'm just going to use my ruler here. And you say, well, I'm just going to run it right down to where it meets the dam here for the racket. And what I'm going to do is just measure my line and say, whew, that was easy. I have my distance, and there it is right there. What's the problem with that? Well, the problem is this line is a straight line. If you look at the canal doesn't follow a straight line. All right? So you can't measure it using that. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut that out here. And you're going to need to measure it in sections or legs. Sometimes you'll say, well, it jogs. Okay, so I'll show you what I mean by jogs. So I'm going to shorten up my ruler here. I'm going to come up here and set it right on the end here at the Massena Intake Dam. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to run it down the middle as far as I can. I don't want it to touch the sides. And what I'm going to do is take my piece of paper and I'm going to measure this leg. Okay, I'm going to try to measure that leg right there, and I'm going to use it in miles. Okay, you're going to keep a track where you have it here, and then once you have that, you're going to come back here. So basically, it's heading to the east, southeast a little bit, and then it's going to jog to the right. And what you're going to do is kind of bring this down here for the next leg, and run this. Oops, almost. Run this about as far down as you can get, which I would say probably be right about there. And now you're going to measure the next leg like that. And once you have that leg, you're going to add this distance to the first distance, and you have the distance right to this point. And then you have one last distance here you have to add, and that distance is from the end of that line where you measured and to where it meets the Grass River, which is right here. So you're going to measure this third leg. Oops, my line's a little bit crooked, but you get the point. I'm going to add this distance with the second distance with my first distance, and that's my total distance. I'm going to pause the video so you can measure that. If you did it yesterday, re-measure it to make sure you jog your memory and you know how to do it again. Pause. Okay, so you're finished now. You should have about, ballpark figure, 4.3 kilometers. Okay, again, 0.1, 0.2, high or low, that's not too bad, so you could go up to 4.5, down to about 4.1. If you had 4 or 4.6, you're in the ballpark, but you could do a little bit better. Okay, so there is our first distance for 9A. Okay, and now we want you to measure for B. Oops, let me flip my page. My page is different than yours. The length of the village of Massena from the village limits at the north end of town to the village limits at the south end. So, take my ruler. We need to figure out where the village limits are. The village limits are everything in pink. At least when they made this map back in 1964, those were the village limits. Have they expanded since then? I don't know. Probably. But as of this map, we're going to use this map to measure the village limits. Now, it doesn't have any particular path. What you're going to do is you're going to go from the top here, from the very top corner right there. I'm going to put my ruler right there on the corner, and then I'm going to rotate it around, and I'm going to extend it. Now, you're going to use your piece of paper in place of this, and then, oops, I'm going to measure this distance. You're going to measure this distance with your paper from there to right there. Actually, I went a little bit long there, but it's actually going to be back up just a little bit. Measure that from north to south. Okay, it says from the north end of town to the village limits at the south end. That's your distance. Okay, we're going to pause. Okay, you did that. You should be in the ballpark of about 2.8 kilometers. Okay, again, plus or minus 0.2. Questions on that? Of course, if you ask me a question, I can't answer it right now. Letter C, the distance between the Martin Road and the Kingsley Road. Okay, I love this question because everyone says, hey, is the Martin Road the same as Martin Street? No, otherwise they would have the same name. We're looking for the Martin Road. So take a look around. If you're not sure, although you all should be sure because you all live here, we want to find the Martin Road and the Kingsley Road. And I'm going to give you a little bit of a hint here. There it is right there. Okay, so here is the Kingsley Road, and here is the Martin Road. Okay, we want to know the distance between, actually the Martin Road is right here, between the Martin Road and the Kingsley Road. Now there's a problem. If you look here, it's a little bit wider here. Okay, it's a little bit narrower here. You can measure in the middle. Okay, split the difference, measure it in the middle. So we're going to measure from, oh, say right about here. Oops. And then I'm going to measure straight across. And measure that distance right there. Okay, we'll pause the video. Okay, so now you've done that. You should be, ballpark, anyone? About 1.3 kilometers. Okay, plus or minus 0.2. All right, so we're going to stop the video there. You're going to have a few minutes to go through and do letters D through H. The sub will be coming around checking, helping you out, and then they'll go over what the answers are. Bye.